Okay, hello everyone. Hope you all are good. In the preceding chapter, we have already talked about matter. As we have said that matter is the stuff that makes up the universe. So, we have also discussed that matter is made up of particles, isn't it? Particles which are smaller than you can imagine. That I have already said. So, these particles. They arrange themselves in different ways, and their orientation leads to our discussion about solids, liquids, gases, etc. So in this chapter now, we'll be discussing about atoms and molecules. Obviously, when I say the word atom, what do you think? Yeah, most of you may all of you, almost most of you may think that atom is a very small entity, in fact the smallest entity, isn't it? You may think that we all are made up of atoms. There is nothing as small as atom, isn't it? Yeah, everyone has the same perception. So more or less that is fine, and that is the same way Mr. John Dalton thought. John Dalton, what he did was he considered atoms to be indivisible. That means he said that atoms are indivisible. That is, atom is the smallest possible entity. Everything is made up of atoms. You cannot have an entity which is smaller than an atom. Atom is the smallest possible entity. However, later on, with the discovery of other particles, other atomic particles, subatomic particles like protons, electrons, and neutrons. Please go through the discoverers. Okay. You should know the names of the discoverers. I won't mention them in the video. With the discovery of this subatomic particles, it was known that atom is not the smallest possible entity. Okay, there are particles which are even more smaller than an atom. Can you imagine? Atom is smaller than you can imagine. Now, how small will be these protons, electrons, and neutrons? Okay, so it's very interesting. Once you go into the core of science, everything becomes interesting. And now, as I have already said, atoms are indivisible. This was quoted by John Dalton, but with the discovery of this subatomic particles, that is protons, electrons, and neutrons, it was found that atom is not the smallest possible entity. There are other particles which are embedded within the atom, and something which is embedded within the atom, obviously it has to be smaller than the atom. That is obvious, isn't it? So, this is how it came into existence. And different atomic models have been formulated by different scientists. However, what we follow is we follow the tradition where we represent our atom in the form of this method. We have a central part which consists of protons and neutrons. This is surrounded by something known as cells or energy levels. So this central part is called nucleus, and these are called cells. These are energy levels. Okay, so these are named as K cell, L cell, and so on and so forth, M, N, so on and so forth. Okay, so in the nucleus we have protons and electrons, and around it we have cells where electrons are revolving. Okay, these electrons, they revolve around the nucleus in their respective cells. Protons are positively charged, electrons are negatively charged, neutrons are uncharged. This is what needed to be known at this instant of time. Okay, now this is an atomic model. Now see, there are combination of atoms, right? Combination of atoms is known as molecule. For example, we never write O, we write O2, isn't it? Why do we write O2? Because oxygen has diatomic existence. Two atoms of oxygen, they combine with one another to form an oxygen molecule. Okay, so later on when we do the formation of these molecules, you'll understand, but for the time being, basically what you need to know is you need to know that if atoms they combine with one another, they yield molecule. It is not mandatory that the same element is to combine with one another, isn't it? Here OO, oxygen, two atoms of oxygen are combining to give you an oxygen molecule. Hydrogen, nitrogen, it is the same. However, in carbon dioxide, one atom of carbon and two atoms of oxygen are combining to yield a carbon dioxide molecule. So it's not mandatory that same atom has to combine to give you a molecule. Okay. Example, water also, two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. Okay. Now, after having said this, let me go into the details of some other aspects. So as we have already said, protons are positively charged, electrons are negatively charged, and neutrons are uncharged. Neutrons are uncharged, zero charge. So what happens is, as we have already said, inside the nucleus we have protons and neutrons. So what is the net charge of the nucleus? Net charge of the nucleus. Net charge of the nucleus is positive. Why it is positive? Because proton is positively charged and neutron is uncharged. So what is the net charge? It has to be positive. Okay. Now any atom or element is represented in this form: X, A, Z. Now X is the symbol of the element, and A is known as its mass number, and Z is known as its atomic number. Now what is mass number and what is atomic number? This needs to be discussed. Okay. Now let us discuss about this in details. Now, what is the time?
7.
Let me quickly go into what actually atomic number and mass number is. Now, as we have said, in an atom we have protons, electrons, and neutrons, isn't it? Neutron is uncharged. Okay. So what we know is an atom is electrically neutral. An atom is electrically neutral. This is a very, very important point. Now what does this mean? This means that in an atom, number of protons is always equal to the number of electrons. Isn't it? Isn't it? Unless and until number of protons is not equal to the number of electrons, it won't be electrically neutral. For example, if I say sodium 1123, you can see it is represented in this form, exactly in this form. X is your sodium and mass number is 23, atomic number is 11, isn't it? See, what does this mean? How atomic number means number of protons, which is equal to number of electrons. So that means number of protons and number of electrons in an atom are exactly equal. So here, what is the atomic number? 11. So how many number of protons are there? 11. So that is equal to the number of electrons. So how many number of electrons are there? 11. So what will be the net charge? Proton is positively charged, so plus 11, and electron is negatively charged, so minus 11. So net charge will be plus 11 minus 11, it will be 0. That is why we say an atom is electrically neutral. Okay. Now let's consider about quickly talk about mass number. So atomic number, as I have already said, is the number of protons which is equal to the number of electrons, and mass number is equal to number of protons plus number of neutrons. For example, in this example, how many protons are there? 11. And what is the mass number? 23. So number of neutrons is, obviously number of neutrons will be 23 minus 11, that is equal to 12. So basically what we'll do in this chapter is we'll discuss about atomic number and mass number in details. After that we'll talk about electronic configuration, valency, and other small concepts. Then we'll learn how to write the chemical formulae of different compounds. Okay, for this video we'll stop here. and we'll continue in the next class. Thank you.